going on, guys? We are back in Brentwood, California, Los Angeles. It's actually 3 months before completion. Still heavy duty construction right now, as we see. So, the owner is very excited about the construction and things are going great over here. So, let's check it out. Let's see what's up. We've been here 6 months ago. I believe it was 6 months. Back then, the project just started. We've seen before the kind of the behind the walls, right? The infrastructure, the foundation and so forth. We are still kind of standing really on what I call the base, which is really the concrete, slab really in that case, which kind of leads us to the backyard. And again, you have the nice sliding door. This is kind of what we call an open concept, where you have a nice foyer. I mean, this entrance is kind of really rich, kind of also leads you to the second story, where eventually, they're gonna have a nice chandelier. They're just kind of a very rich entrance. It's not really a traditional property because it's brand new construction, but the elements that, been created for this project, it's kind of more like on, transitional, but still traditional kind of for the location, for the area. You see, we have what we call wainscoting. You see those things in the walls. Those are, what we call wainscoting. And you got, the nice kind of molding. And it's kind of really give you the warmness and the feature that, that sometimes you don't get to see those type of finishes, because those finishes, it's really, there is like especially in LA, there is something we call a white box. So a lot of the properties that people do today, they're always concerned about, like, we don't want to make it look like another white box. Meaning, we want something unique, we want something special, we want something warm that, you go to a home and, this is a family home. The owner is actually my dentist. We had a conversation with the owner, kind of to talk to them about the experience and hear kind of how they felt like things are going, throughout. So let's check it out. So we are kind of in the main really entrance, which again leads you to the second story. The second floor. You have the garage in the back. I always say, you want to put the garage in the back. Obviously, it's kind of very straightforward. It's very common sense, but common sense is not that common. Keep that in mind, right? So when you find the right design team, you can reach out to us. We are, when it comes down to design, to construction, development, representing you guys as the owners, right? You come back to us, we give you the best of the best. What we do for our clients, right? If it's an investor, if it's a client, if it's an end user, meaning like somebody that owns a property and just bought the property, wants to remodel it, or lived in the property for 20 years, wants to remodel it, maybe lived in the property for 2 years, wants to remodel it, or somebody that just even buy it, just for flip. Some investor, they come to us, we deal with the city, we deal with the building department, we do all the plans, the permits. We have incredible design team, the best that money can buy, the best that you can get anywhere from California to South Florida. We have our in-house team. When clients working with us, with Moses Hershko Development, the level of experience, the level of dedication that we provide to our clients, it's second to none. And for example, sometimes, I'm involved from the design phase all the way to the end of the completion. It's basically from inception, right? When we're starting the design, all the way to completion. And the clients tell us the communication, the transparency, and the integrity that me and my team have, they never saw anything like that. And the reason for it, because we are not necessarily just like working by the clock. We are not like a 9-to-5 operation. You got an emergency, you got a question, whatever is humanly possible to answer in a timely manner, which usually it's like 3 business days. But it's not about like, we're not trying to, to play the game with our clients. If we have answers, sometimes the client, they have a question, they have an answer. Sometimes things needs to be researched, right? Sometimes, I'm not like pulling sometimes stuff out of my pocket. I don't have rabbits in my pockets, right? We're dealing with like, real situation. We're dealing with like a lot of vendors, a lot of subcontractors, my in-house team, beautiful properties that we build for our clients, design and build. And, there is certain things along the way that require certain kind of adjustments. I always ask the client, it's not perfect yet, but we're going to get there. Just trust the process, trust Moses, trust our team, and we're going to get to the perfect heaven when everything is beautifully done and they can move back and enjoy the property for the rest of their life and grow their family and grow their kids. That's kind of the vision that I like to have for my projects. And like I said, my project is like, every project is like my little baby, and not a baby, and another opportunity to create, flourish a relationship with our clients, with our vendors, with anybody that we work with, That's always ultimately our number one goal, is to make sure our clients are happy. Okay, number one. Okay, the client is always number one for us. That's the rule number one. Everything else, with all due respect to anybody that we work with, that I work with, the client is the most important. We want to represent the client in the best possible way. And that's why one of our services, it's really what we call owner's representative, which is sometimes not very common in California. It's actually very common in Florida for clients that, let's say, move from New York to Florida, and they want somebody that will supervise the design team and the construction team, the general contractor, right? So a lot of times, people come to us and they discover, the services. We provide owner representative, we provide the design, we provide the build, we deal with the city. We have an engineering license in-house, which is like very unheard of for a general contracting firm. And just to combine all those services, it just kind of allow our clients to minimize a lot of the issues that usually come down with, design and construction in general. Also, we design from the perspective of the client wish list and needs, but we also want to make sure that it's compliant with building departments and we can actually build it. I see a lot of time clients call us, they have a design, right? Maybe they work with a different design company and they come to us and they think they have the plans ready to go. And we look at the plans and we find out, they're missing architectural detail. They might have interior design, or they might have the architectural design, but they don't have the interior design. They don't have a complete shopping list, like finishes, flooring, cabinets, and so forth. We are standing in the kitchen, by the way. Check it out. This is new construction, by the way. Still in new construction, again, that element can be recreated. So this is very traditional, but the point is to create, again, a space that it's warm enough, traditional, but still transitional, meaning it's modern, but it's still warm and kind of traditional, right? So that's why, the creation of, the ceiling, the beams, that kind of give you like a little bit more warmth. And then again, the kitchen space with a beautiful large island. And again, the wainscoting up the walls all throughout the home, which give it again a very, very nice warm feature. And again, all those elements, it just kind of, even like, for example, those grades, you see those windows. Again, this home, it's a classical Brentwood new construction property. Okay, it's very important also to match with the owner vision. They had that dream, to create that property for many, many years. As they mentioned previously, they did a previous remodel, which didn't go really well, not with us, many, many years ago with someone else, which I don't even know who they work with. It's probably been like long time ago, but now they're getting everything they wanted for so many years. And I'm just happy for them, they can get it, right? So again, the sliding door with the grids, this is like very classic. This project, I like to consider it as almost like the Brentwood Classical, right? That's kind of the nickname. I give my projects nickname, right? Like babies. And this is what I call the Brentwood Classical, because it's just so classic, just so, rich and warm and classic. Let's go check out the pool house, or the guest house, if you like. Again, we go into the backyard. You can actually look at the second story on the nice balcony that's coming out from the master bedroom. And again, the view, when you go to the backyard, it's kind of surprising a little bit that you have such a serene, just a private space. So, obviously, if you look at the fences, it's kind of in a certain height. And again, they have the trees and so forth, which give it like a lot of privacy, which I really like, because sometimes, you get into the backyard and the neighbors can see each other, which is not really sometimes the perfect situation. Like, you want to have a little bit kind of privacy. So again, look at the finishes. Very classic, very traditional blue tiles that we see, the coping and so forth. So the pool, it's not done yet still. There is some finishes that needs to be done on the pool. We had, like, with the season right now, all the trees are screaming, so we got like a lot of leaves on the pool, so it's kind of a little bit dirty right now. Again, going into the pool house, or if you want to call it the guest house, right, the pool house. So you got a beautiful space. Again, look at the feature of the ceiling. Again, really traditional and classic. It's really remind me our project in Altaton, for example. It's very similar, so the creation of here, even though, like the Altaton project, it's a remodel and we kept some of the original kind of structure, still the creation 2024, it's the same, for example, right? So it just kind of show you that you can recreate those spaces and just take the good things. Like, some people tell me, look, today construction is different, like it used to be 20 years ago. Yes, but even 20 years ago, you still add certain things, architecturally that can be used in today's construction. So the point is just to really try to tap into the vision of the owner, the wish list, the needs, the desires, everything that they really dream on, and kind of find where the rubber meets the rope and how you can create it, where it's new construction or it's a remodel, but you have all those elements, all those colors and all those elements that bring everything to life. So actually this one, I don't know if you saw this one, full shower, full bathroom on this one, which is like very, very beautiful size. Again, look at that nice finishes. Come, let me show you something. Check out the thickness of the roof. You can see from the bottom right now, the roof is still being done on the main home. Those kind of roof design, those are very rich, very unique. It's not like the traditional composition shingle, right? So sometimes when you do roofing, there is something what we call composition shingle, which usually tends to stay for like around 30 years. Those one will stay for a long time, and this is very, very solid. So, I mean, just the quality of construction and quality of finishes and all those elements is being placed on this home. It's like really comparable for the location, right? Because you have to keep in mind, a lot of times people, they don't really put enough emphasis on the right thing. So you have to be careful. For example, I've seen situations where people live in a very specific location, in Brentwood, in Bel Air, in Atherton, in Los Altos Hills, a lot of prime locations, but they don't put enough emphasis or they don't invest enough money. Their budget is not relevant to the property value or the location value. So if you don't get the right things, if you don't do the right things, or you get the right suggestion from your designer, from your builder, you might be in a situation you're actually decreasing the value of the property. And when you want to sell it, let's say, or regardless if you sell it, if you don't sell it, you want to make sure you emphasize on the right quality, not just labor. Labor is important, obviously, because when you install certain materials, you want to make sure the right vendor, the right builder is actually providing the installation. So the installation is also matching the quality of the materials. You don't want to buy high quality material and you have unexperienced labor installing those materials. So it's very, again, where the rubber meets the rope. Quality materials, we're not talking about spending the most money, but we're talking about getting more value for the overall budget. So for example, for our clients, understand, for example, very good quality windows and doors. Okay, just FYI, okay, quality of the material. So for example, for us, our design team, we have capability, we work with a lot of showrooms, we have, our discount is being applied to the clients. For example, we might get like 50% off on certain materials that we apply for the client. So it's not just about the labor of the construction. In a project like this one over here, there is, great amount of the budget that goes to the finishes, the fixtures, all those things that essentially the client has to buy from those stores, from those showrooms. And that's where also we step in and fight for every dollar. I fight for every dollar that my clients spend. And thank God that's why we are successful. We're not successful because we are the cheaper one, the most expensive one. I don't even like to use this word, but my focus is cost versus value. My focus is to deliver as much value to my clients as possible so they save, they still focus on very high quality of materials and labor, but they save overall because we apply the discount that we get with our relationship, with our license. We apply directly to the clients, which just allow them to, get better quality for overall better budget, which is just a win-win for both of us, right? Sometimes, when you install the tiles on the ceiling, it makes it a little bit heavy. Again, it just works perfectly for this property, right? So it's all about kind of each property, it's unique. You cannot sometimes, our clients, they see something and they like it. It's kind of like wearing a clothes, right? Sometimes you see a cool car, you see a nice shirt, but when you try it on, you don't feel it's like you. So the same thing with the clients. Sometimes they see something they like because, I always say in the end of the day, there is a lot of work that's being done. Everything is gorgeous. Everything is beautiful, right? It's not like you're going to do something and it's going to be, it's just for the eye of the individual, right? Everything that we do, it's going to be amazing, right? It's just preference as far as material selection, colors and so forth. Everything is going to be amazing, even with furniture, with materials and so forth. As long as it's being done right and the quality of material is there, it's going to look great. So the only question is really what you prefer as a client, as a homeowner. What is your preference? What do you feel comfortable? After Moses leave and our team leave and the construction is done, what is your preference? What would you feel comfortable? That's kind of really the ultimate, because you can look online, you can look in a magazine, and you can see a lot of different options. The bottom line is really to narrow down the option during the design phase, really kind of to focus on the right elements that fits the budget as much as possible, obviously comply with building department and the vision of the clients. That's the most important thing to focus on. Eventually, when the clients actually go to the showroom and they look at the renderings that we create, I always talk about our, 3D renderings and the quality that we provide. When they see all those details, it just helps them to narrow down, because I have a lot of clients that actually, they've been working with a previous designer or previous architect and they couldn't get that vision. And when they come to us, they like, okay, now I'm in the right place. Now I can get my dream situation, my dream property, my dream remodel, my dream new construction, whatever they like. And they experience the process, from the initial concept design all the way to the end result, which is like the final product, which, obviously it's like they move in and they understand the way it's supposed to be. It's very, very simple, where you perfect the process and you know exactly what to show to the client and direct them in the right direction. A lot of our clients, they don't know exactly what they want, but we show them and we narrow down the option, and there is like different kind of system that we use and implement. And again, technology is great, so it's allow us to present certain details on the plans, and again, using 3D renderings, using the right planning, the right softwares that can allow the client to get that vision and kind of bring it to reality, but really understand all those details, because a lot of people, they can't read those plans. Sometimes, like for example, there is like, I've seen design team that they do not create those specific 3D realistic renderings, and the client cannot just get the vision from the layout, from the floor plan. So they kind of lost on the way, and sometimes they give up, right? So when you come to us, you're gonna get that vision implemented. You don't need to know what you want. We're gonna help you figure out exactly what is the perfect situation you wanna be in, okay? We are on the second floor. Again, the wainscoting. By the way, something very, very unique. There is an elevator right here, check it out. This is not just like an empty space. We're gonna have an actually elevator going up, So a lot of people, sometimes they're concerned about having, two-story, but as you get older, it's nice to have an elevator. In the future, if the client, 50 years from now, the client, require assistant, it's much nicer. This is actually it gives you so much value when you have an elevator in a property. Like, you never see those type of things in certain location, unfortunately, right? The mindset of the design team and the capabilities and the experience that you bring from, let's say, for example, we are in Los Angeles right now. And sometimes, when I build for clients in the Bay Area, for example, Silicon Valley, we bring our experience, we bring our expertise, and just give the clients from a different location perspective that they cannot get from anyone else in their location. So being creative and also picking up stuff like that, for example, having an elevator, which you don't really see unless it's like a mega mansion. But this is like a very traditional standard property. I mean, it's still considered a mega mansion. We're in Brentwood, it's expensive property, but it's not like a $50 million property. You still have a fucking elevator in your home. Right? These things increase the value. It's a little bit obviously more expensive, it's more investment, but if somebody would buy this property in the future, they're gonna pay the extra money because they have an elevator. Guys, come on. So the capabilities that we bring for our clients, and the fact that we have all those experiences allow us to create something much more unique for our clients and increase the value of the property. That's another, something that it's mind-blowing to me, that I've seen a lot of property, they just missing so much opportunities to create those spaces that, it just leave money on the table, right? So you as a homeowner, you as the client, you as an investor, we want to see the property as an investment. Even if you're going to live in the property for the next 20 years, we want to make sure we emphasize on all those elements that will increase the value, but also make it more convenient while you guys live in the property, okay? So it's very, very smart. Again, look at the skylight, nice and deep. Again, using those kind of sophisticated, those spaces to, just bring natural light. It just, very, very cool. And it's kind of allows you also to add a little bit flavor to the space. The window creation, again, the grids on the window, very traditional. Again, this is preference. It's not necessarily my personal preference, but, that's again, very traditional, very unique to Brentwood, which I like. And again, you have to comply sometimes also, with the environment, right? You guys don't want to build a property that it's going to look completely not relevant to where you are. You know what I'm saying? So each location, you want to make sure you design, and that's why we have in-house design team, but we also collaborate with designers, in the locations that we are. So for example, if we are in Brentwood, we have local, architects, designers that we collaborate. They understand the building codes very, very well. And of course, me doing it for over 20 years, I understand all those details and how to work with different jurisdictions, different cities, different building departments, and we can make decisions that also expedite sometimes getting those permits. Sometimes there is a lot of things that's missing on the plans, and those can expedite, if done properly, can expedite the time frame or the timeline that, to receive those permits. So it's very important to have very good quality control and very good due diligence before we submit the plans, right? Sometimes if you work with the individual architect or with the individual designer and plans are being submitted and something missed from the details, it will take another month to 2 months just for them to respond to you. We're missing that little detail, and now you've been waiting for 2 months, which is like, to me, it's like a very, very annoying that I see those situations. So we actually open a specific department in our company that just doing quality control on those plans. We don't submit the plans until everything is perfectly done. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to get a response from the city that's requesting for something, but again, the point is to minimize the timeline and the time frame, because time is money. And when we have those permits in hand quicker, we can start construction, we can finish the project, the client can come back home as soon as possible. And again, right now, during the new construction, they have to rent. So again, time is money. They're renting somewhere else. They want to go back home as soon as possible. So getting the permits done properly and quickly, it just gives you a few more points in the client experience in the long run. So again, we're right now in the master, right? The master is where the action goes, where the action happens, right? So again, I love this master. The size, you just feel like you're at home, right? Like you feel like this is the right property for me, you know, and for the homeowner, right? Beautiful ceiling height, beautiful feature, fireplace. You can't ask for more, right? Like the balcony size, the views, serenity, everything. I mean, this is like one of my favorites, master bedrooms. And again, the American dream, right? Going to your balcony, waking up, having a nice cup of coffee. And actually over here, you can say hello to your neighbors. See, you can actually have a nice, better look on the concrete tiles, okay? On the roofing, which is very unique. It's not the traditional composition shingle. Again, depends on the character of the property, depends on what the building department allows for every jurisdiction, for every city. On this project, they comply with the building code, which allow, you know, to create and install those type of roofing finishes, which is, again, very, very solid, and give it like just such a nice kind of character and make your overall investment just incredible, right? So again, you know, you have the views, the pool house. Again, you can actually see from here the roofing. You can see it perfectly from this space, actually. So that's just make it, you know, perfect. So there you go, guys. You know, Brentwood, California, another magnificent project. 225 is coming. If you guys want to start your project as soon as possible, you can go to my bio, you can go to our website, moseshershkodev.com. It's Moses Hershko, DEV.com, like development, right? You can submit your project inquiry. My team's going to reach out. We're going to start work on the design. I'm going to come personally to your home. We're going to look at all the details. We're going to look at the wish list. We're going to look at the vision. We're going to create something special for you and your family for many years to come that you're going to be proud to call your home. Okay, God bless, and we'll see you soon. It's cool.